The RCWR Show with Lee Sanders is intended for a mature audience only. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond since 2011. You're listening to the RCWR Show. Now, your host, live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, what is good, you lovely kind people? Lee Sanders here. You're checking out a all-new RCWR show dropping for Tuesday night of May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Hopefully it's been with you all day in the most influential and positive way possible. But May 4th, 2021, have a little bit of a detour for this episode because I was expecting to be coming on here talking about a new NWA Powerrr, but instead what we got this week was, and look, I was actually happy with it. We actually got a new NWA Powerrr Surge. So this was the second episode for NWA Powerrr Surge. And I gotta tell you off the break, now look, this is not gonna be a long-winded review and recap, not like how we did the first Powerrr Surge, because now that I got the gist of things when it comes to the talk of NWA Powerrr and all, I can pretty much be in and out. But for this particular episode of NWA Powerrr Surge, my God, time flew by pretty quick for one. Came on time, 6:05, but then the next thing you know, boom, just like that, it's over, and you're going, whoa. And I'm looking at the clock, and I'm seeing that it's 6:35, and it's already done. So essentially, it was barely 30 minutes that we got for this week, but only one match to show for NWA Powerrr Surge. You heard me right, only one new match, only one exclusive match was on Powerrr Surge, and I was just kind of left a little bit disappointed with that, quite honestly. Whereas opposed to what all was going on with that first Powerrr Surge episode, you know, you're like, oh wow, you know, this, like I told you guys from that very first episode for Powerrr Surge, it came off as if you were watching an episode of WWE Sunday Night Heat. You know, Velocity, it kind of fit that type of realm. And that continuation we did get to experience here on this episode. But I just feel that at this point, a little bit more would actually be better. So I think that we need to try to, if I were to give some solid advice to NWA, particularly for these Powerrr Surge episodes, as a fan, avid supporter of all things pro wrestling, I covering pro wrestling as well as I've done my own respected interviews and all that, covered events and all. I would say for your Powerrr Surge episodes, try to have the minimum of 2 exclusive Powerrr Surge matches you're not going to be able to find anywhere else. Try a maximum of 3. I know 3 may be kind of pushing it a little bit, but if we could at least go in with a minimum of 2, that would actually be pretty good, I personally feel. I love the fact that they did also try to continue on with key story arcs that they feel fans would be most interested in, and pretty much kind of thread it along, try to take you to that next chapter of those major story arcs that's going to be playing out on regular NWA Powerrr. So I did like those pluses as well. I do like to see that continuation from what they did from the first episode going into the second episode of Powerrr Surge. So things kicked off. Our presenters, Joe Galli, May Valentine, May looking awesome as always. And sidebar, I had got the most hilarious meme sent to me yesterday by my girl. It was hilarious, and I had to read it like 3 times in order to understand what was going on here. And next time I'll do screen share on the next NWA joint so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. But she sent me this hilarious image And if you bear with me a second here, let me actually, this ties into May. So that's why I want to look for this image, and I got it. So she sends me this image of a calendar. And on this calendar, usually when you have your calendars, you got a nice little picture, and then you, on the lower half, you got your dates and all that. So on the top portion, which is the picture, there is a box of sugar. And you see that the calendar is on May, but on the calendar, it looks as though someone actually had poured a boatload of sugar on the calendar. And so I'm looking at this and I'm going, and when I first initially see it, all I see is just the center part of this image. So I'm kind of like, okay, I don't get it. I don't get it. And she's like, do you get it? I'm like, I don't get it. She's like, you should get it. It's a song reference. I'm like, I don't get it. No. So finally she sends me the actual full blown image, and it has the caption, pour some. You get it? I know, corny as fuck, right? You get it? Pour some. And then in the center, you have that freaking, box of the sugar. And then you see the rest of the caption, on May. All right, so pour some sugar on May. You're like, Def Leppard, I know, right? That's badass. I love that, though. So, but no, May Valentine looking awesome and beautiful as always. Let's see. So they were our presenters. There was, for this episode, they set us up good. They said there was going to be an interview with Thunder Rosa, who's going to be commenting on, Camille and stuff. Also an interview with Trevor Murdoch. This was pretty much his first interview, if you will, since he got suspended from last week's NWA Powerrr. Remember the huge implications that was involved in that particular matchup had he and his respected team of Saul Ronaldo and it was Tim Storm. Yeah, it's coming back to me now, because Saul Ronaldo was originally going to be in it, but then Tim Storm said, no, let me go ahead and get in it. So it was actually Tim Storm, Trevor Murdoch, Aaron Stevens taking on Chris Adonis, Thomas Latimer, and Kratos. And remember the stipulations for that matchup. Had Trevor Murdoch won, he would have gotten a shot at the national championship, not Nick Aldis's NWA world title, not the 10 pounds of gold. He just would have gotten another shot at the national championship. But since he came up short, he's been suspended for 30 days without pay. So this was his first interview talking since he had been suspended and everything. And we also got an exclusive match where Genocide took on Sky Blue. So we kick things off as Joe Galli and May Valentine interviewed Thunder Rosa. They got her thoughts about the whole Camille situation and everything. So storyline wise, we pretty much saw this. We saw this expanded even more, the continuation of her program with Camille. Also, it was brought up how Thunder Rosa has got her own wrestling promotion going on. She even has her own training facility now. And May brought up the question of, what do you say to your critics that feel as though, you're not exactly being loyal to one particular promotion? I just kind of felt this was left field of a question to ask, but I kind of have to remind myself that, as odd as that question may be, I have to remind myself that, you know what, there's probably a particular reason why we are going in this direction. And Thunder Rosa came off pretty irritated by that question that May was asking and everything. And she pretty much told May straight up, she said, look, at the end of the day, I got to do what I got to do to provide for my family. I got kids at home, so I got to do whatever I got to do. For me, it's nothing personal. It's all about business. It's all about making sure that my bills are paid. I got a roof over my head. And to anybody that has a problem with that, they want to be all up in my business, she pretty much in Spanish told them they need to shut the hell up, basically. But May kind of thought she smelled a little bit of blood. And you kind of notice now in these past two Power Surge episodes, May Valentine has kind of kind of probe. She like continues to probe, thinking maybe she's gonna have something come to surface or whatever. And May kind of felt as though, that lining of questioning, maybe it had bothered Thunder Rosa a little bit, if maybe there was something a little bit more to the surface that Thunder was holding back on. And Thunder was like, no, I'm not holding back whatsoever. I'm just telling you how it is. And if I did have a lot more to say, trust me, I definitely would put it out there. So I just thought that lining of questioning was interesting, though, because it was just so random. What I felt was maybe going to be just the main focus about Camille. And also, hey, so it kind of seems as though within recent weeks, you've warmed up a little bit more to Melina. Is it safe to say that based on what we saw from last week when that summit had went down, with you, Melina, Camille, and Taylor, was it Taylor Wilde? No, Taryn Terrell. Is it kind of safe to say that, you and Melina are now on the same page, whatever past, transgressions, beef that y'all might have had, everything is squashed. We didn't go into that territory, which I would have totally been okay with. So there was my point. There was a lot more potential to really dig in there during that interview process with Thunder Rosa, to really kind of capitalize on what we've been seeing play out on television for these past couple of weeks. But sadly, we didn't go the full, understand what I'm saying? We really did not go all the way there. It was just like barely mentioned. Like, I don't even remember the Melina thing being mentioned at all. It was just pretty much, hey, you're beef with Camille. Hey, you're opening up these training facilities. You got your wrestling promotion. What do you say to, so me personally as a fan, I didn't care about any of that was going on with Thunder Rosa. So she's working for NWA. She's working for AEW. She's working for whoever. That don't matter to me. I mean, hey, the more, the merrier as far as the accessibility that we fans get to have, of her showcasing her skills. Not to mention, wow, women are wrestling and all that. So, I mean, it's all good. But, interesting. Kind of. On the one hand, good way to open up, but then on the other hand, you're like, eyeball questioning, but okay. From there, we got our one and only match on Power Surge for the evening. Genocide taking on Sky Blue. It didn't really dawn on me until I was really looking at Genocide this go round, and I believe this is maybe my second or third time seeing the work of Genocide in the NWA. And I gotta say, when I looked at her particularly tonight, she was looking more and more to me like Britt Baker. I don't know if anybody else was kind of picking up that same vibe, but if you didn't, just do me a solid. The next time you check out NWA Powerrr and you see that she's on the card, just peep her out, especially when they do the zoom in on her face and all that. She looks like she could be the older sister of Britt Baker. She's just taller and a little thicker. And I mean thicker in the most complimentary way. That's humanly possible. While I was streaming this, privately, amongst my friends in the Discord, a lot of people were taking a nice liking to her. Like, who is that tall chick? God damn, she's tall. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Genocide. I'm like, who? Yeah, this is Genocide. Jenna Van Muscles. She's like, oh yeah, she's pretty badass. Like, yeah, she's something else. One thing that I did enjoy as far as the commentating, because for this one, Joe Galley was joined along with Velvet Sky. And one thing that was pretty interesting about this one was, I gotta tell you, I chuckled a little bit when it came to Velvet Sky, because Joe Galley, you hear his enthusiasm, you hear his energy, and he's talking about how, we got this great, exciting match that's coming up, and Velvet Sky is just, I'm so excited. Yes, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see this match. Oh, it should be great. It should be very exciting. Yeah. And you got Joe Galley. Yeah, let's get right into it. This should be great, and you just got Velvet Sky. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to, but I'm just hearing that and I'm going, it is a match that we're getting, right? I'm trying to make sure that the level of excitement I definitely have going into the next segment and everything. But besides that, I did enjoy Velvet Sky bringing to the forefront a little bit of background information on our girl Genocide. I did appreciate that because some of the people that I was, again, watching this show with tonight, they were going, hey, what's going on with Genocide? Where's she work? Does she work for other promotions, or has she just been doing her thing here in NWA? And it was nice to hear Velvet Sky talk about how, she's worked for, the independent. She's, done work, I believe, in Australia. She's done work in Japan, so, you definitely want to kind of go out of your way. I can kind of give you guys a little bit more context. I don't know if you guys remember her, but rewind it back to 2017. She actually was involved with the WWE for a hot minute. She was down there for NXT. And if I remember right, she had a match against Sonya Deville. Again, this was down in NXT. And then she went on the independents, American Combat Wrestling. That comes to mind off the break. Mainly American Combat Wrestling from what I can recall. Also Pro Wrestling Kingdom, to kind of help you guys out a little bit. So I mean, she's been a little bit all over the place. She didn't start doing the Genocide character until a year ago. And when she did start doing the Genocide character, this pretty much had came about because of the COVID-19 pandemic. That's when she went on ahead and started doing the Genocide gimmick. But she didn't officially debut the gimmick in the ring until fourth quarter of last year. I don't know the name of the promotion right now, but that's pretty much when she was doing it, and pretty much the rest is history, as they say. Genocide defeating Sky Blue. Kind of ironic when you think about it too, because Sky Blue was actually wearing all red in her match tonight. Interesting. But good matchup between those two girls. Good shit. Got a recap of Tyrus getting his TV title shot against Pulp, D'Angelo De Niro. We also got the recap of the title match versus suspension that revolves around Trevor Murdoch. We pretty much had told you all about that already. This pretty much had set up. Now here's where it gets new again. We had saw Mae Valentine interview Trevor Murdoch, and essentially this was kind of Trevor Murdoch's little mini Hard Times promo that he was cutting here tonight and everything. I love the fact that he brought up Harley Race, talked about how much he's learned from Harley and how it means all the world to him to win that 10 pounds of gold. Told a really cool side story about, whenever he would go into Harley Race's office, chat with him and all, there would be a NWA championship that he would see over Harley's desk and everything. And basically, something that he's strived for, something that he's tried, very hard in his career to get to that pinnacle and everything. And basically, that homage to Harley Race and everything. And it was good. It was a really nice, good moment right there, because you really connected more to Trevor Murdoch as a fan. You really felt more. Very rare do you get those wrestlers these days that can make you feel a certain emotion. As opposed to they just come out and, oh yeah, they're good in the ring. Very seldom these days you got somebody from a personality standpoint that you can really, really connect to and everything. And Trevor Murdoch, is definitely one of those guys that, all these years later, and I think it's kind of funny too, because, all these years later, my man has found the fountain of youth somehow. I don't know what it is, but I mean, exactly how I remember this guy with Lance Cade and WWE. I mean, he practically looks the same. He practically looks the same, maybe slightly a little bigger by about maybe 20 pounds, but he still looks the same. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, he was doing his what I felt was a Dusty Rhodes Hard Times promo and everything. And the lining of questioning from May Valentine, it was good right here. I just wish that the way NWA had structured this segment, I did kind of find a couple of flaws here, much like I have found flaws with the Thunder Rosa interview. Probably one of the most biggest questions that's right there that wasn't addressed is, okay, so, you've been suspended. You're suspended for 30 days. Obviously you're going through the motions right now and everything, but what does the future hold for Trevor Murdoch? Do you see yourself continuing on here in the NWA once your suspension is up? Do you see yourself dusting yourself, off and getting back on the saddle again? Considering everything that you just talked about, do you see yourself continuing on in NWA? Do you see yourself continuing on, really kind of honoring the legacy and memory of your mentor, Harley Race? And do you see yourself, continuing on? Are you going to somehow try to chase after that 10 pounds of gold from Nick Aldis or whoever the champion may be by the time you come back? Where exactly do you see yourself right now? Where's your head at right now? I really wish we would have gotten more and more in that instead of, you come off as a nice, hardworking man. Oh, you come off as a good man. I didn't really particularly care for, and that's no fault to May. Again, this is the fault of how it was structured and everything. Now, look, what I'm proposing, that's not going to involve you, oh man, we're going to have Murdoch talking for an additional, it's not overkill. It's not like we're reinventing the wheel here. We just got to go in and we just got to make sure we're putting that fine detail, to those respected areas and everything. But still, a pretty strong segment for Murdoch nonetheless. Get a recap of Kratos, Aaron Stevens, their whole breakdown as a tag team, Tim Storm, and how he ultimately became a NWA tag champion with Saul Renarlo. Pretty much, we close things out with the NWA champion, the national treasure himself, Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis was asked about what all's been happening between Aaron Stevens and Kratos. And Aldis talked about how, well, look, the Nick Aldis that I faced at, Back for the Attack, he's got a different mindset, his headspace, just everything that's going on with him. He is on a different career trajectory right now. And, what's been happening with him these past couple of weeks with Kratos, it's unfortunate, but Aaron Stevens is in a transformative period right now in his career, but it's a little bit complicated right now because of his past association at this point with Kratos and everything. So it was kind of nice hearing for just a moment, not getting the smug Nick Aldis, and he didn't come off concerned. I mean, he really came off truly unbiased, hey, 2 cents from a distance looking in. And this was actually pretty strong. I love the logic that was put into the way this talking segment was booked, because by Nick Aldis pretty much going there and then, also bringing up Kratos, Joe Galley jumps right onto that and says, so, was this your idea, having Kratos team up with Thomas Latimer and Chris Adonis in that match last week to take on Aaron Stevens, Aaron Stevens, Tim Storm, Trevor Murdoch? Was that all your idea to, have him go in there with the group? And I love how Nick Aldis just comes right back And it is like, you think that much of me, like, no, make no mistake about it. Latimer, that's been my boy, that's been my best friend for however many years that he said. But he also says to him, you're not giving Latimer the proper respect and props that he deserves, because I know that just based off his appearance, he may look like a freaking beast. He may look like a savage, but he's got some serious intellect up there, and that was his call. My guys in Strictly Business, when it, I'm paraphrasing, but basically when it comes to them pulling a audible, in a spontaneous moment, they're able to do so, and they come up with some pretty solid things and all that. And, pretty much as we had saw, it paid big dividends and all that. So we had got the question asked. Again, the way this was structured, I loved it. The other two, not so much, but this one was structured very, very well. You could tell, as far as the fine detail and all that, the emphasis was just, this was good. So, question is asked to Nick Aldis, who would you like to face? Once again, pretty much from the last Power Surge, who would you like to face for that 10 pounds of gold? Who would you like to defend that title against? And once again, he's pretty much saying, hey, it's all about who's up for the task to step up, who's up for the challenge. It's not about me, but it's about who's the most qualified. It's about the fans and what they want. It's about the box office, who's going to step up and show up. So once again, he's beating around the bush, and you're kind of getting, yeah, okay, dude, you don't really want to defend that title. Okay, we got it. So Joe Galli comes right back, not in a diabolical way, but just in a, oh yeah, by the way, folks, we got some major breaking news that we need to share with you guys in 3 weeks' time. And this will play out on NWA Powerrr. In 3 weeks' time, there's going to be a 14-man battle royal. And it's open to everybody on the NWA roster, with the exception of the current champions. So whoever the tag champions are going to be by that point, whoever is going to be the national champion, they are obviously exempt from this. But the winner of this 14-man battle royal, they are going to go on to face Nick Aldis for his 10 pounds of gold. And from there saw a angry Nick Aldis. I mean, he's just flipping through his paperwork, and he's just like, wait a minute, this, nobody ran this by me. What the hell is going on here? Nobody told me about this. And Joe Galli is like, well, sorry there, champ, but yeah, this is legit. I'm not pulling your chain. This is legit. Didn't you get the same memo? Weren't you in the meeting? And all this just sharply comes right back and everything. So you're kind of keeping in mind that Aldis, who's always quick to remind us, he's got the stroke, he's the dealer, he's pretty much what makes everything go around in the NWA world and everything. Here's this move that was made, and yet somehow Nick Aldis, he just did not get the memo of this, and he just grabbed his championship and he stormed the hell off. I loved it. That was badass. So further cementing how much of a what's the right word we're looking for here? Not really a chicken shit champion, but a very, I'm good. I don't really want to defend this because I like everything that's come with this. The money, the power, my placement on the roster. I'm good. I'm just going to hold on to this for as long as humanly possible. I love it. I freaking love it. And so pretty much NWA Power Surge went off on that high note. So again, now you kind of see why, it was essentially only about 35 minutes of what I had talked about there before. Actually, yeah, because it came on at 6:05 and it was over at the 35 mark, so barely 30 minutes. Some people felt it was more 29 minutes, but you guys get the gist. But like I said, just to kind of reiterate again as we close out, they gotta do, I think, a more better job in giving you exclusive matches for Power Surge. The minimum should be 2. The maximum should be 3. I mean, you've got that block of time, and it's funny because some of us, what I've been doing these past 2 Power Surges, I've actually, just out of curiosity, I've let the encore kind of play again because, the timing, it's so short. I'm thinking that, oh, well, maybe NWA is going to air something new here, but, they air it twice to pretty much take up that whole hour and everything. And to that, I say, nah, why not try to stretch out your show a little bit more? Why not try to go in with the goal of 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and you can easily accomplish that. You can leave the same level of interviews that you're doing in there, just kind of structure it a little bit better with some of them. But if you can also add another match, and yeah, I mean, I don't see what the big deal is. So hopefully they'll get there. And I think they will. I think they will get there. Feedback like what I'm providing and what others are saying on social media and all that, it'll definitely help them out tremendously. All right, so other than that, that's pretty much NWA Power Surge for May the 4th, 2021. I got some quick programming notes for you guys. I will be back live on the air with you all again this Wednesday night, May 5th, 2021. I'll be with you all right after AEW Dynamite goes off the air. Remember, that's the Blood and Guts edition. So we'll be talking AEW Fallout. We'll be talking NXT Fallout. We'll talk a little bit of MLW. We'll talk some ROH. It's going to be a fun show. It's going to be good. We'll be talking all things wrestling and non-wrestling related. Hey, man, you're still here. You made it up to this point. Thanks for checking out the show. Please, if you haven't done so already, hit that like, hit the subscribe, click on that bell. Especially if, you like content like this, you want a lot more. Or maybe you're that NWA fan and, you appreciated it. You want more content. Do those things, It really kind of helps the YouTube team know, because, we need to try to get this product out there now that it's pretty much behind a paywall. So not as many people are able to check it out now. So content like what I'm providing right here definitely helps those folks that still care about what's happening with the NWA product. Kind of, lets them know through YouTube, by what you do with all those actions. It pretty much lets that YouTube team know, hey, look, you said you like stuff like this, here you go. That's how you can help. And it's free. Don't cost you a thing. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. And until next go round, I'm wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you all next go round Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern after AEW Dynamite Blood and Guts edition. Y'all take care.